Myself and my husband Will are currently contributing to the defence of humanity in the ongoing Thargoid war. Our carrier, the AXI Icarus, has travelled from our home in the Witchhead Nebula to the Pleaides in order to be present for the conclusion of the AXI Community Goal, The Art of War. We have contributed around 50 hearts to the 10,000 required to complete the goal, and are very pleased to have been part of such a big anti-Xeno drive. The Pleaides is still under constant threat, despite the massive losses sustained by the Thargoids over the past month, with yet more Imperial Navy capital ships left crippled in Merope. Recovery operations had yet to begin, but I visited the location to get a first-hand look at the lost Imperial vessels. There have been ground attacks on human settlements, with interceptors as tough as MEDUSA destroying human structures. I was able to catch a CYCLOPS and BASILISK attempting one such attack and destroyed both vessels. I've also been contributing to megaship defence around the Pleaides, looking for the rarest of Thargoid groupings, the Double Hydra. The chances of finding a duo were slim, they are exceptionally rare. Solo Hydra showing up in force though, possibly a response to the AXI's kill count this month. This was perfect for me. I was going to take all the practice I could get. Viewers of our channel may have noticed that I've been testing a few small ships lately. I've been looking for a reliable alternative ship to battle Thargoids with. The reasons for this are a little complicated, and we can talk about them in the next video, but being back near civilization did give me the opportunity to set up some new ships. I thought for this particular visit I would stick to my favourite ship manufacturer, Lakon. They made the Chieftain after all. And of all the ship makers, they offer the widest variety of purpose-built ships, with everything from combat to exploration catered for. Not all of their ships are suitable for AX combat though, and so before setting out to buy, I needed to evaluate them. So we know the Chieftain and Challenger are excellent AX combat ships, possibly the best available for this purpose. But what about the others? My criteria are that the ship must be fast enough to outrun a Basilisk, and carry enough firepower to take on a Hydra. Also, that there are more than 2 utility slots to allow heat sinks and shutdown field neutralizer. The majority of this selection are too slow. This includes the cargo ships, Type 6, Keelback, Type 7, Type 9 and Type 10. The Diamondback Explorer, Crusader and Asp Scout are also too slow. This leaves the Asp Explorer and the Diamondback Scout. Both can be engineered to move faster than a Basilisk, and both carry enough firepower to take on a Hydra, and both have 4 utility slots. The only question now was, how would they actually perform in AX combat? The ASP Explorer is Lakon Spaceway's premier exploration vessel. When used for its intended purpose, this ship not only delivers an incredible jump range and the internal capacity to equip all the surveying tools needed for long-range discoveries, but also offers a stunning pilot panorama through its 2-level bubble canopy. With engineering, this ship can boost to 546 meters per second, and that boost cycle is incredibly fast at only 4 seconds. Outfitted for AX, the ship sacrifices much of that jump range, but has a 64-ton cargo rack for all Olympus or meta-alloys you will need, and armour improvements up to 2300 points. The Class 5 repair limpets will net you over 13% hull recovery per limpet. The hard points allow equipping all recommended AX weapons, 4 Gauss cannons, though only 1 medium, a flak launcher, and thermal vent beam. The major flaw of the ASP for AX combat are its relatively weak vertical and lateral thrusters, and it presents a large target for incoming fire. It isn't tanky enough to weather an onslaught, and may not be manoeuvrable enough to avoid one. My plan was to conduct testing by facing off against each interceptor variant, whether they be solo or in a group of several. The only way to know if the ship is suitable for AX combat is to throw it into the real thing. Straight off the mark, I can tell that this ship does not want to orbit. I am not going to be able to fly it like the Chieftain. It has relatively poor yaw and pitch rates, so attempting to follow the ideal orbit orientation means you cannot track your target. The fast boost cycle is very helpful for gaining some aiming mobility. The ASP Explorer is fast enough to avoid the lightning attack, but seemingly not manoeuvrable enough for me to jump on the second target like I would in the Chieftain. I had to wait until the lightning attack had expired before making my move. Speed stalls heavily when changing your thrust vector, and so avoiding the lightning attack when orbiting close is far greater a challenge. Overall, the ASP Explorer was a more challenging ship to fly than the Chieftain in this matchup, but the fight was nonetheless a comfortable engagement. The speed of the ASP makes controlling the pace easy, and while the manoeuvring was subpar, it is by no means unworkable. How would it fare against the MEDUSA, where its lower firepower would come into play? The difficulty in maintaining a tight orbit could severely hamper the ASP's ability to fight MEDUSA. I immediately attempted to drop into my normal orbit trajectory, but the drop in speed means the orbit decays and damage is taken. The workable method here seems to be to orient the ship along the Thargoid vector to make use of the pitch axis more than the yaw, and to use lateral thrusters instead of vertical to stay off axis to the Thargoid's vector. Suffice to say that boosting out of a decaying orbit is going to be a regular occurrence. Between hearts, the repair limpids make great use of the time, quickly building up the ship's hull again, and unlike the Chieftain, repair limpids do not affect the aim of the flak launcher. My thermal vent beam is only engineered to a range of 4.8 kilometers, so I suffer from the same orbit decay issues when working down the shield that I do on attacking runs. Having a fully engineered thermal vent would probably resolve this issue, but I don't really have any trouble avoiding the damage from the decay during this part of the fight. Just boost out to a higher orbit and continue. Mirroring the last fight, the Medusa was tougher than when using the Chieftain, and adjustments to flight maneuvers needed to be made, but again it was a relatively comfortable fight. The repair capacity and speed of the ASP meant that recovery between hearts was easy. Constant vigilance is needed due to the orbit decay issues, but it's workable. Now, I did take the ASP Explorer out against a Hydra, and was not successful in destroying it. However, I do believe it is possible to destroy a Hydra in this ship. All of the ASP Explorer's manoeuvring problems are exacerbated 10 times over against the Hydra though. Stalls in speed while trying to maintain even something resembling an orbit means your hull is constantly being whittled down. The limited firepower means you have to keep to that 1.5 kilometer damage fall-off threshold as much as possible. And on top of that, with 3 heatsink launchers, you will be hard pressed to get a heart on your first visit. Adding a 4th heatsink launcher would extend your time on target during the attacking run, and it is also possible to synth heatsinks mid-attack run, though I am not proficient with that yet. second heart exerted, but was caught with a lightning attack and then rammed while immobile within the lightning. The fact that the first heart had been taken and the second was exerted means this ship can pull this kill off. I just wasn't up to the task on this occasion. Overall, I was quite surprised at how capable the ASP Explorer turned out in AX combat, given its limitations. I would not recommend it for a new pilot, as it really takes a lot of effort to make work, a task that will be easier after you have some experience to draw from. I know one thing for sure though, I will be revisiting the ASP Explorer Hydra in future. Maybe next time I will walk away with the win. The Diamondback Scout is the cheapest ship Lakon Spaceways produce. You'd be forgiven for thinking that its low price and tiny frame would make it a terrible choice for AX combat, but this ship has a top speed of over 580 meters per second. It has maneuvering capabilities that are almost on par with the dedicated AX ships the Chieftain and Challenger, and while it cannot mount as much armour for protection, it is a very small and very fast target. The hardpoint positioning allows for great convergence, though only 2 medium and 2 small means compromises have to be made. Flak will cost you one of those medium hardpoints. If you decide to run a thermal vent beam, you can get away with losing a small instead. The drawback of this ship is the power distributor. Its small class 3 power distributor can easily run out of juice if pips are not properly managed. This is especially important for the system capacitor, as even heat sink usage will run it dry during an attacking run, far faster than on the dedicated AX ships. Unlike the ASP Explorer, the DBS easily has the maneuvering capability to take on an attacking run while evading a lightning attack from another interceptor. One minor flaw is that if you don't manage the pips correctly, the engine capacitor will let you down more often than the chieftains would when it comes to boosting after a target. As I'd suspected, the DBS excels at killing Cyclops. Its manoeuvring capabilities make it a joy to fly, but how will it fare against tougher targets? For the next engagement I would face a Medusa, and to fully test the ship's capabilities, I was going without flak. This would allow me greater firepower as I could mount an extra medium Gauss cannon, but would require much more careful manoeuvring in order to avoid the swarm. It was during this fight that I found the orbiting rhythm for this ship, and after that point, the attacking runs became a lot cleaner. It was around this time that Will and I left the Pleaides to return to our position in the Witchhead Nebula. So far, I was very impressed with the DBS. It was fast becoming my favourite ship. But as I'm sure you've guessed, there was still one target we needed to take on to truly know the capabilities of the Diamondback Explorer. Fortunately, where we call home, there are no shortage of Hydra. For the Hydra fight, I am firing all 3 Gauss cannons at the same time and firing double heat sinks to cover the extra heat. This will concentrate damage and make the attacking run shorter. The DBS can reliably cover the heat of 3 Gauss with double heat sink usage. am out of heat sinks, so if I cannot get the heart in the next couple of shots, I'll have to break off and re-exert after refilling my heatsink launchers. Following a refill and repair, I can get back on an attacking run. We did some damage to the heart on the last run, so it should go pretty easily once exerted this time round. The hearts take less damage to exert for each that is destroyed. The next 6 hearts will all fall more or less without incident. The DBS is handling the orbit manoeuvring exceptionally well, even with 1 pip reserved purely to recharge system capacitor for heatsink usage. It would, however, be the 7th heart that would present the next challenge in this fight. Having been caught by lightning, I have lost my canopy. In a larger ship with more module reinforcements, this most likely could have been avoided, but I've taken down several Hydra with no canopy in the past, so this would not stop me from claiming my victory for the DBS. final heart had fallen. This tiny ship, a mini chieftain, had only to finish off the remaining hull, and it will have cemented its place as the best small ship for AX combat in my opinion. Just a few more shots to go. Well, as you can probably tell from the video you just saw, I've grown very fond of the Diamondback Scout. It handles very well, can carry enough firepower, and has a versatile number of utility slots. Not to mention, the cost and rebuy of this ship is so ridiculously cheap. You've got to keep an eye on the power distributor and be wary of lightning. Module protection is quite limited on this build, but if you're looking for a small ship for AX, this is the one.